Hey everybody, Drew here for Drew Games and the Drew Games podcast here on YouTube.com. Coming at you with episode 18, I think it is, of the Drew Games podcast, featuring myself as obviously the one that owns and runs the channel. Joining me, my younger brother from his channel, Desert Nord. Hey bro.
Hey there.
Hopefully that's loud enough this time. It's up to 24. As opposed to this past Friday when we delayed that episode to Friday because I was way too tired to do anything last Wednesday. But here we are this week. On today's episode, we got, as you guys can see on the screen here, we'll be talking about Mass Effect Legendary Edition and the fact that it's having crashing issues on Xbox because of accessories for the console. And we'll get more into that. Hades, a Game of the Year nominee from 2020, is coming to PS4. We'll get into that. Microsoft has informed retailers that they can sell Xbox Series consoles stock as it comes in starting, let's see, it's the 19th today, so as of yesterday. And we'll get into that. And finally, Geeks and Gamers, by way of their YouTube channel, Gaming with Geeks, and Lethal Lightning reporting on their channel, reporting that Starfield is in fact going to be and is exclusive to the Xbox Series consoles. And we'll get into that as well. With that being said, let's start with what's on the screen right here next to me, guys. Mass Effect Andromeda. It came out, I believe, Friday, right?
Yep.
And it's already having crashing issues on Xbox because of accessories that are plugged into the console. Specifically, from what 8-Bit Eric was going through, specifically on Xbox Series X. I don't know if the Xbox One is having the issues, but it's possible that it could be because the controllers for Series X work on Xbox One and vice versa and so on and so forth with all of the accessories. So, with that said, evidently the only fix of it is to make sure you don't have headphones plugged in and stuff like that while you're booting up the system. Because Mass Effect Legendary Edition doesn't actually feature the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3 in it. It's just all of the single player stuff. Apparently that's seemingly the reason for the bug of the game not booting up with accessories attached. So with that being said, controller turned off, so you probably didn't hear me say because of the accessories being plugged in and whatnot. So with that being said, Nora, do you want to add anything to this?
Well, yeah, I would just add that the fact that people now know that it's got some glitches, and it's, to begin with, it's an old game. It's a game people played, sort of remastered, I guess you could say, in a certain sense.
And I'll put onto one disc and into one launcher, basically, on a disc.
You kind of have to wonder whether it's worth the price at that point.
Is it worth $60 for basically all three games and most of the DLC, mind you, for all three games? Because I think there's one or two things that are not included because they couldn't get it working or something like that.
Yeah.
What a surprise, because it's modern day BioWare. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I just would say it isn't. I'm perfectly content with the memories I have of the games.
Yeah. I currently have all three installed from Game Pass, and I bought as much of the DLCs as I could find from the Xbox store at the time. So myself. So
unless I suffer
so it is
like
what it is.
some sort of head injury, I think the memories of Mass Effect are better than any forward-going experience. So.
Okay, well, I can't bring up Hades on the screen because that's not on Xbox, so apparently. Or I'm just misspelling it, one of the two. Either way.
Well, it's Hades.
Hades.
So, yeah.
Oh, ES. I put IES.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on Xbox.
Yeah, I didn't think it was because I would have seen it.
Well, I was trying to bring it up to the background because I'm trying to start to do that for the thing.
Yeah, I also didn't
When
think
we're
that
talking about
mattered
games.
because you're not only an Xbox guy, so.
Well, yeah, but I have the Well, I'm talking to you on the Xbox, so that's why.
No, I get that. I understand.
Because if I bring up the PS4 stuff, then they and I aren't going to hear you at the moment. If I boot up the PS4.
I know.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Hades coming to PS4. Anything to add to this one?
Well, like I said, I probably said it off camera, but it kind of is reminiscent of other games we've already seen and some of us have played.
Yeah.
And
because
it could be good. Because
I have played some of it for the Switch, and it's actually pretty damn good. I can see why it was nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, it seems really intense and good and well made.
It just was obviously not going to win Game of the Year because of the games that it was up against, and God forbid, The Last of Us Part 2 at the time.
And frankly, it is a bummer that it's not on an Xbox.
Well, at this rate, since it's now going to be on PS4 at some point here, it's only a matter of time at this rate.
Yeah, you'd think.
Same thing goes for something that we previously reported either Friday or like a week or two ago with Among Us going to PS4. It's only a matter of time before that makes its way to Xbox then.
Yeah.
At this rate, if it's going to, that is. Speaking of Xbox and the fact that I got the hat and shirt on, as usual, Microsoft has informed retailers that they can now sell Xbox Series X and S's stock as it comes in starting on May 18th. And at the time of the recording, this is May 19th, so this is yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, consider that I work at a retail store for a retail company, and this is all just a hobby for me on YouTube.
Yeah.
I actually work with our general freight trucks, so I see when these things actually come into the store, and it's always pissed me off whenever I would go on our site or on the app on my phone to see if we have them available for purchase, and we never fucking do that I've ever seen. So the fact that and that has always pissed me off. So this is actually a damn good thing. It's about fucking time that either Sony or Microsoft actually allow retailers to do this, because this means that it's going to make potentially short of actually putting the systems, God forbid, on store shelves, make it at least less of a hassle of just sitting at your computer as if you have no fucking life, just refreshing the page every second of every day for the next year or two without leaving the house, not eating, not sleeping. Go fuck yourself because you're a robot and your life doesn't fucking matter, just to try to get one.
Yes, I really don't understand why they're okay with the system as it is.
Well, Microsoft has now changed that, so, well, at least to a limited degree, with now allowing retailers to sell their next-gen consoles stock as it comes in the store.
I mean, if they could just have a weekend or something where they turn off digital orders or something.
Well, first of all, actually doing it physically in the store without the internet would be the best thing to do, but
I mean,
this
at least give the in-store buyers a chance.
well the thing is with ordering it online, the only way to get it is you actually have to physically go to the store and pick it up. You can't have it delivered, which
No, I get that.
yeah.
I'm
But
just saying, but they're not even stocking the damn things. They're just shoving them right out the door as soon as they get them.
well, not really as far as I know, because I've never seen on any site any available anywhere, much less on the company that I work for.
I'm presuming that they're actually receiving consoles.
Yeah, we do receive consoles, but here's the thing that I'm constantly told: they get the availability or the chance to purchase it randomly gets released on the site.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, as in like I guess like a specific time on a specific day instead of like, oh, they're in the store, the website should reflect that. Like the store that I work at now has the stock available, purchase it, go pick it up at the store, and then come back home with it. What the fuck is the problem, Sony? It's and honestly, Sony is not the only one guilty of shit. Even though this is a good thing for paying customers at this point, Microsoft, you still have a long way to go because they're still not on store shelves. Neither are the PS5s. And it seems like you're still having manufacturing issues. How about you just cut the losses at this point and say, we'll relaunch it like holiday 2023 or something for an official release? How about that, you pieces of shit?
Yeah, they really don't do a whole lot of consideration to the majority of the gaming community.
Yeah, at this point, neither one does.
I mean, there's a certain segment of the market that is being flooded and fed.
So
then there's another that's getting starved out for no good reason.
So with that being said, I see now the chances of at least this channel being able to cover Xbox Series X in the future now went from probably 0 to 2% chance, most likely 0%, up to as high as maybe 15 to 20% with this announcement now, which is still not good.
Yeah, they're really going to work on that.
Yeah, and I say 15 to 20% because you're still going to have to compete online with bots and scalpers.
Yep.
Still. But still, at least it's based on when each store gets the stock or the store near you gets the stock at that point. That's still an improvement, though, to when you will actually be able to get your hands on Xbox Series X or S if you're stupid enough to go digital only at this point. But yeah, yesterday this became official apparently, so good on you, Microsoft, for this, but you got a long way to go to make this actually a good situation for gamers and for parents trying to get their kid the latest system at this point. And Sony has even further to fucking go at this point too. Because they're still sitting on like random whenever the fuck we feel like letting the retailers actually sell what they're supposed to have in the stores. But either way, so I don't see getting a PlayStation 5, if ever, at this point, anytime soon in the next 5 years. At this rate.
Yeah, just out of pure deprivation. I mean, really.
And the fact that anyone reporting on any of this constantly goes, there's a higher demand for PlayStation than Xbox. Yeah, I know, I get it. But the fact of the matter is that I'd rather get an Xbox than a PlayStation anyway, for A, that reason. B, Bethesda. And
yeah, it's just a mess.
And
Because
and
if you can't get a console, what the point is any of all of that?
and secondly, A, B, C now. More robust reverse compatibility than PlayStation gives a flying fuck about, because the Series X is reverse compatible with original Xbox, Xbox 360, and from everything I'm still told even now, to the full catalog of Xbox One games.
Yep.
Without excluding anything, apparently. And this next story that we're just about to talk about, as reported, as I saw it earlier today, I think the video went up today even, by Geeks and Gamers by way of their YouTube channel, Gaming with Geeks, and as reported in their video by Lethal Lightning from his channel, so go check out those channels, including Lethal Lightning's channel on Twitch and YouTube. Lethal was reporting that Starfield is in fact going to be a full exclusive on Xbox Series X. So,
yeah.
If that's the case, there's reason number 4, or D if you will, to want an Xbox Series X. When I was talking about Bethesda or alluding to it, here's why. For Starfield. Now, I know what some people are going to say, but Game Pass is also on PC. That means it's going to be on PC. Yes, I know. And yes, I know I do have a gaming laptop, but it is limited, and I don't want to, put any more strain on my gaming laptop with anything newer like Starfield. I'd rather play that on a Series X, should I be able to get one at any point in the near future.
Yeah, because the chances of it crashing your computer are a lot higher.
Well, the game Skyrim, with all the mods that I have, doesn't crash the computer. The game just crashes basically every time I have it on.
Yeah, well, that's a different problem.
Yeah, that's the game itself, more than likely. But either way, with that being said, Starfield is a reason to get an Xbox Series X, and Microsoft has increased the percentage with their announcement of retailers now being allowed to sell the stock as it comes in now. Your turn, Sony.
You know, they really need to do something that's consumer friendly for a change.
Well, it seems like Microsoft is trying, given the circumstances, but blaming COVID for anything now is just lazy as fuck, by my view.
Well, I mean, there's some residual effects, but I mean, come on, how long are they going to sit there and not fix the problems?
And how long do you expect people like us or me or anyone who's not a major what the fuck should I call IGN anymore? Or Outside Xbox or Eurogamer anymore? Because
they're practically bread gamers. I mean, if you can imagine the concept of bread tubers being gaming news guys.
Because they're the ones that obviously get their hands on the console, and then there's the lucky few like Mallory Gaming on YouTube who was able to get both. God only knows how.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to bring up the phrase Gamergate, but yeah, they would definitely be guilty parties.
Well, I'm not talking about Mallory Gaming here for that. You're talking about IGN and Eurogamer.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the previously mentioned ones, yeah.
I just want to throw that out there that he's not talking about like Geeks and Gamers or Mallory Gaming or YouTubers.
Well, of course not. Of course not. Geeks and Gamers was one of the groups that was exposing them.
Yeah.
Of course, those guys aren't the guilty ones.
I know that. But I just wanted to make that clear that we're not throwing anyone under the bus other than IGN and Eurogamer, the ones that deserve it. But, yeah, the fact that most people can't get their hands on this shit. In fact, I work with someone who wants to get a PS5 for his son, And anytime I know even like the smallest bit of information, I inform her of what's going on, and she goes, "Well, that sucks." Because usually for Sony, it's all bad with availability. And I don't see an update coming on any of it until next year. At this time, it may be the soonest. And that's just an update. That's not actual availability at this point. So if this announcement from Microsoft actually leads to like them actually getting consoles into more homes, that's only going to hurt Sony if they drag their ass across the floor like a dog trying to wipe its ass. At that point, then Sony seriously is going to have to do more than acting like a scalded dog wiping its ass across the carpet, which it seems like that's all they're interested in doing right now.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. Do you have anything worth talking about here?
Well, there hasn't been much this week. I would reiterate that it looks like Xbox is actually trying to moderate what they're doing or modify what they're doing to fix what's wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas Sony just looks like they're sitting on their ass and
last week we did cover that Sony evidently is, as reports are claiming, looking into redesigning the PS5 with parts that are actually available to actually make manufacturing the PS5 actually easier so they can have them out for people to buy.
Sure, but the problem with that is that at that point they're kind of like jerry rigging consoles, and honestly,
which sounds
I just
questionable
feel like that's
anyway.
lead to a poor quality product.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds questionable at best anyway. But saying that you're looking into doing that, first of all, is better than just sitting back and making people feel like that they can fuck off. For one.
Well, sure, that is, but
and two,
what I was gonna say is it's like telling a person, okay, fine, I'm not gonna have a situation where you can't get the product. I'm gonna make the product less desirable so that you can actually get one.
Well, it's that, and like I was, what in the hell was I about to try to say?
It's like telling someone they can't have, pecan praline, but they can have banana split if they want. It's like, no, I don't want a banana split. I want the pecan praline,
In saying that you're trying to redesign the thing to have parts that are actually available so you can manufacture more to meet demand, that's on paper a good thing, but at the same time, that's also sounds to me like that's a long-term fix to the thing, which means I wouldn't expect to see those PS5s till 2025, probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just like them going back to the drawing board at that point because they have to build in those new parts. Then they have to test run it to see if it works normally or functions the way it's designed to. And then they have to troubleshoot in case there are any errors and go back to the drawing board in case that doesn't work to begin with right off the bat.
So it looks.
And then what? What do they do if those parts that they can source don't work right? They're just going to release a piece of junk for the same price as the original stuff?
With that note, that's why it sounds like Microsoft's, what they announced that took effect yesterday, apparently, is not only a good long-term solution.
It goes back to what you and Gucci had said in your review of the release of PS5.
For the first episode of the DDG show, yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to that, and it kind of boils down to if they had just announced, hey, we're going to delay the release of the console until everything is settled down and everything is gone back to normal and we can actually source parts for our game console. and actually satisfy the product and the consumer quality we believe in. No, they didn't want to do that. They wanted to rush it out, jam it out, shove it up down everybody's throats in the wake of the pandemic, and just pretend nothing was wrong.
Yeah, like I was getting at, Microsoft solution just allow retailers to sell what they get when they get it. That and in doing that, that doesn't compromise the hardware, unlike it sounds like Sony's plan might do.
Well, yeah, that's like exactly what they're saying.
Yeah,
It's like they wouldn't want to use these parts for the consoles, but
if
they have to.
yeah, so the
That's what it
parts
sounds
that
like.
they initially had are not available anymore, or whatever the case may be. So they got to use parts that are available, which might not be necessarily better than what's in the launch model. Which it sounds like the launch model of the PS5, at least on paper at this point, might well have been the best version to get at as it sounds on paper right now.
Sure, the great irony here is that the pieces parts models are going to be priced probably the same, or if not a little less, I guess.
Well, well, it's
And the old ones, which will be the original ones, are
if
going to be the ones that are actually starting to justify their price at that point.
I doubt that they would price them less because that would be something that Christ would do,
Or an honest company with ethics.
which we know Sony isn't at this point. They probably were at one point, but they don't
It's
seem
like
like it
it'd be
now,
like if
especially with their headquarters out in Los Angeles.
a car dealer or a car maker said, "Well, we couldn't get our V8 engines that we normally put in our Challengers, so we decided to get Honda motorcycle engines and put them in there. Um, but you
Yeah.
still have to pay the same price."
Like I said
It's like I'm
before,
not that stupid.
like I was alluding to before, folks, you guys know my intention for next gen. Wearing it on my chest right now and on my head. That being Xbox.
Well, I mean,
Should
if
the
it's any
opportunity
indication,
come
I may not have a
anytime
choice,
soon?
bro.
Well, first of all, when it comes to which one I'm going to get first, yeah, there's probably not going to be an option. It's going to be the first opportunity that a Series X is there that I can order it to go pick it up and God help me walk down the street to bring it back home. That's probably what I'm going to have to do, even though I hate the idea at
Yep.
this point, considering that, God forbid, ordering for delivery. God help us if you want to do that.
Yeah.
God help you if you want to order anything online for delivery anymore. That almost seems like you're walking into an office building filled with feminists and calling them a cum catcher.
Yeah. The point being that you're gonna be in for pain if you decide to try and even decide you're gonna order online a new Xbox or PS5. I mean, either one really at this point is a
Yeah.
challenge.
And I do want to say up front now, thank you, God rest in peace, George Carlin, for that line that I just gave you about cum catchers,
Yeah.
because that was one directly from the legend himself.
That's an edgelord special.
Indeed. So here's to hoping that Series X is in the near future for coverage at this point. Like and like I said earlier, the percentage of the chance of that went from basically 0 to 20% maybe at this point. The only way that it could go up to like 50% maybe is if them being physically on store shelves would probably
Yeah.
be the only way to get it to 50%. Just saying. But
Yeah.
either way.
I just think the whole situation is a damn shame.
But final thoughts on Starfield being only on Xbox's next gen system,
Yeah,
which would
I
honestly surprise me to a degree because Microsoft themselves said going into Xbox Series X generation and whatnot that for the first couple of years, games for the new hardware would also be on Xbox One because it would take people a while to get to the next gen. Well, did they think that the problems that we currently face would be a problem? Probably not. So
yeah,
my thoughts are simply
on
this: if it's not on Xbox One at launch, I'd be stunned. You?
yeah, I'll just say this. Whether or not it's on what platforms is partly irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
Um, what I care about at that point is, have they designed Starfield correctly?
Well, there's only one way to find that out, and that's wait till it comes
Because
out and
man,
see.
if the formatting is anything as messed up as Cyberpunk was, it's going to be another joke.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, because if single player games are any indicator from Bethesda, we should know what we're getting, but given how their last game was, it's hard to really know for sure, other than what they've told us so far, is that their next games after Fallout 76, as they were intending, are supposed to be single player games.
Yeah.
So that's what they told us. So that's all we really have to go on, other than leaks like screenshots and that kind of thing, which have been coming fast and furious about it now. And then also other entities like Geeks and Gamers reporting that it is going to be an Xbox exclusive of some kind, which we already figured because of the buyout of ZenMax.
Yeah.
So we already knew that it was going to be on Xbox. That's not really news, but the fact that it's being said that exclusive to Series X and S would be surprising, though.
Yeah.
In terms on specifically what Xbox hardware, because if it's exclusive to Xbox One, I highly doubt that if it's exclusive to Xbox Series X and S, that would be surprising, especially like I said earlier. Uh, we figured it to be on Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles. So if it's not on Xbox One,
Yeah.
that's giving you a reason why you have to go get an Xbox Series X just to play Starfield at that point, unless you want to play it on PC. Which I
Yeah.
could, but I don't want to do that to my laptop, like I said earlier. So for me, at least, there's only one choice if this is the case. Try to get an Xbox Series X, and obviously we know that Starfield will be in Game Pass day one, because it is a first party title now. So
Yep.
not necessarily buying it outright at launch, but just getting a Series X and then downloading and playing it from Game Pass is gonna have to happen if this is the case. If not, then I would be trying to play it on Xbox One if I can't get a Series X by then. But we'll see what happens in the coming months here. Or weeks or
Yeah.
days, or who the hell knows when a Series X is going to be available at this point now. So, with that said, we should probably add upcoming Starfield then to games to play while waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, I think,
Yeah.
at this rate.
Yeah, and remember the disappointment, at least mine anyway, of the announcement they were going to do Starfield before Elder Scrolls 6, and I was like, ah.
Well, first of all, we knew that they wanted to do a new IP anyway.
Yeah, I know, but
I was just checking the availability on the app on the Target app on my phone. Yeah, Target is currently still out of Xboxes. Which that's also another thing to bring up. Evidently, the Switch has also been having availability issues too. Apparently,
yeah,
do you know anything about that?
not anything specific.
Probably the same reasoning for the other systems.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah. So, with that said, just have you just been playing Elder Scrolls Online still?
Yeah, pretty much.
Been watching
Yeah,
anything?
it takes a long time. It takes a lot of effort to actually get your character to be worth something in that game.
Yeah. Have you been watching anything interesting recently, like gaming related or anything of that nature?
Well, no, just my normal haunts, the Friday Night Tight guys and all that.
Yeah. Right before this, I was actually watching on YouTube like old things from the History Channel at the time, uh, like undiscovered things about the Vikings, or there was actually a wall supposedly buried in the ground in Texas. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Um,
Like this ancient
well, maybe
wall
not.
that nobody knew who built it or whatever.
Well, I've definitely heard of plenty of things.
And there's
The
and it's actually like within the boundaries of the supposed wall that's underground. There's actually a town there actually named after it in Texas.
Sure, and
But
I
on the
tend to actually look into a lot of things like that.
well,
Um,
it came up in the suggestion on my gaming account on YouTube when I was just watching random stuff while playing Madden quietly on the Xbox on the other screen. But evidently, this wall they determined wasn't actually man-made.
yeah,
It was actually a natural formation. Evidently, what happened, the Earth like shifted or something or another, causing a gap, and like sand and rock got mixed into the gap, forming this what appeared to be like a wall made out
yeah,
of like what looked to be like brick and shit.
yeah. Well, there's uh, a similar effect went on at Devil's Tower in Wyoming,
Yeah,
where some people swear that it looks man-made, but then others will come along and look and say, look, it's petrography for starters. They verified it's stone, so everybody's saying, oh well, it's petrified wood. It's like, well, there's no herbist evidence there of a tree ever existing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's stone and it's volcanically related.
yeah, because evidently, if it had been man-made, this wall in Texas, each brick would have had like its magnetic whatever like going different ways because you can't match up the flow of that when building a wall and laying brick, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
But evidently, this wall, every last brick was like going the same way, which meant it wasn't man-made. It was a natural phenomenon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, yeah.
But yeah, that was very interesting to watch. So, and I like watching stuff like that from time to time. Otherwise, what have I been playing? Just Skyrim on my PC lately, and like I said, while talking about the show about that mystery wall in Texas, I was actually playing Madden earlier. So, uh,
Yeah.
specifically fidgeting around with not knowing if I want to play as a running back or try to try to play with the illusion of being like a quarterback who can't throw very well when he starts out his career, but learn from like a legend on his way out and learn how to become a proper NFL quarterback from him. So that's where I'm at with that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I lean towards the Bucks and Tom Brady at this point for obvious reasons. Because in 2020 they won the Super Bowl, and I would be trying to simulate that through the season. Therefore, my rookie year, while not playing, I would get a Super Bowl ring then.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
Other than that, I am going to keep going with the playthrough of Drew Heartfire with the Washington football team on the stream on Twitch on Sundays, even though I did that on Saturday this week and whatnot, or last week or whatever. But Sunday I'm going to be trying to do that again. Today's Wednesday, so just random streams from here on out for the rest of the week. If I have the energy after work, because I work tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday again.
Yeah.
But with that said, I don't have any other content planned at this time, so just pay attention to my Twitter and you'll know when I'm live on Twitch doing God knows what. Or on YouTube for that matter, doing God knows what. Do you have any a video plan for your YouTube channel, or?
No, I don't usually do any planning of it.
It's just completely random.
Yeah, if something comes to me, I'm sure I'll put it right up, but
yeah, well,
I don't really know.
I generally try to plan shit, but plans as we saw this week, because I was intending to do Games with Gold on Monday, that didn't happen because I was tired and I just slept. So this upcoming Monday, yeah, I'm gonna try to do that Games with Gold game, Armello or whatever it's called.
Yep.
And there's nothing planned for PlayStation Plus for the rest of the month because fuck Battlefield.
Yeah.
Specifically Battlefield 5, which is the one available. Otherwise, I do look forward to seeing what's available for June, because June is the month of my birthday, and I do kind of want to do something on my birthday on one of the various channels for that. So, coincidentally, I think my birthday is on a Tuesday this year, right?
Well, let me look. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so that would be the day after that we would be doing this.
Yep.
So yeah, so I'll be playing something live on Twitch or YouTube, more than likely Twitch, on June 8th. So, expect that. God only knows what it will be by then. It might be something new. It might be one of my old favorites, like probably Skyrim or something. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
With that being said, what are you going to be up to after this? As we go through the outro now.
Well, I gotta eat lunch, and I'm probably gonna play ESO some more.
I am probably going to get back to where I left off on the one documentary I was watching about Viking artifacts and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that I put an entire solid month into that game, I'm still only at 3%.
Yeah. And while I'm watching that, I'm probably going to have the sound turned off, but get back to playing some Madden for a little while here.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Drew That Games podcast. Like we said before, Legendary Edition, it has its bugs and issues because of accessories, so just unplug the shit and get it working. It should work at that. Hades is going to PS4. Microsoft will be allowing retailers to sell their next-gen systems when the stock comes in, starting 18th, that being yesterday, at the time of recording of this. And Starfield, per Gaming with Geeks, i.e. by way of Lethal Lightning reporting, Starfield to in fact be exclusive on Xbox Series consoles. We'll see if that winds up coming to pass. It is supposed to be on exclusive, as Phil Spencer said, to platforms that have Game Pass, so that being PC and Xbox branded consoles. But we'll see if it's only on next gen or not. I have a hard time believing that at the moment, but it is what it is. With that being said, I will see you guys hopefully in the next day or two for a stream of something or another. Otherwise, you will see us together again. Do I have anything for Breaking Rocks? Let me look at this point. I don't have enough for Breaking Rocks coming up here, so we won't do Breaking Rocks Monday at this point, unless anything major happens or enough things come to my attention we're talking about. So you will likely see both of us this time next week for another round of the Drew Deck Games podcast. With that being said, we will see you guys then. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. On the way out, please hit the like button. Subscribe for content like this. Go follow the Twitch channel. Go subscribe to Desert Nord for memes.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.
Later.